What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Ducks and Download. In this review, we're going over the 2 episodes of The Acolyte that we've gotten, and I'm talking a little bit more about Master Soul. So first off, let's just get things out of the way here. If you think you can't have fire in space, you haven't watched any of the other Star Wars. If you think, well, why would a dagger kill somebody? You have not obviously watched any of actual Star Wars. Like, the complaints that we are getting about The Acolyte are so shallow, it's not hard to see the bottom, filled with just absolute imbeciles. The Acolyte is meant to be a murder mystery where the Jedi are not supposed to actually be the quote-unquote good guys. We've all wanted a Sith dark side led story for years, and the first time we get it, everyone's just pissy because, oh look, there's not a white person here, there's not a white person here. In this scene, there's not a single white person. Hey, home dog. Like, I don't know if you know this or not, the last few decades of Star Wars have kind of been filled with white dudes. If you want your representation, we've gotten it in droves. It is now time for others, and also, that's not the main point of it. I don't know if you've realized the galaxy is quite big, it's full of a lot of aliens. Some of them don't even have a sexuality in which to be deferred to. What you're pointing at as, well, that's not a white male. I mean, you don't know if it's a man. We have no idea. That's not important. It is a space opera filled with aliens. Oh, what about just the green painted lady? Shut up. I know you know what a Mirialan is. I know you know who Barriss Offee is. Like, it's so idiotic, these arguments. It's entirely, though, just from people who are trying to get this exact reaction out of us on their content. You don't have to like The Acolyte, but calling it woke or saying it's bad just because of these few minor nitpicks like fire in space or spacesuits is absolutely ridiculous, everyone. We've seen spacesuits in multiple parts of Star Wars, and we've also seen fire all over Star Wars. From the George Lucas movies to Clone Wars, fire in space happens when it needs to as a plot device. Plot being moved forward is the most important thing, as the story must progress or it becomes stagnant, like all Star Wars. We can't just keep having Sidious pop up and Luke slay him or lay him. It will not continue to work. This is the breath of fresh air, and the truest breath of fresh air is coming from the acting in The Acolyte. Before I go on my harp about why Jedi Master Soul is probably the best Jedi to ever exist, at least in the era right before The Phantom Menace, I do have to give it up to the people who are playing all the amazing, quick spoilers guys, to find out that we're dealing with twins and have that answered immediately. Yeah, Osha didn't do it and everyone knows that now. Amazing. That means that the Acolyte is not trying to hold our hand, which a lot of you need for some reason. But what do you mean the Jedi have political enemies? The Jedi have had political enemies for as long as the Jedi have Jedi'd. The Jedi stand for the small person being represented on large, to save the small, to create peace for those unwilling or unable to bring peace upon themselves. They are there to be the guiding stone, the guiding light for all of the galaxy. And man, do people like the Hutts hate that. They ruin their smugglers, they take their spice, and they take all their slaves and free them. There are so many outer and mid-rim organizations that run almost entirely off of bad practices and corrupt people. Do the Jedi stop all of them? No, because it's not their plot, that's not their point. But by having the Jedi simply exist and working within the Republic the way they do, there's a lot of senators and there's a lot of entire planets who want nothing to do with the Jedi. We've seen it time and time before, and if you've read the High Republic books, it's been in your face a lot. The Jedi show up, and people tell them to go the hell away. They don't want their Jedi nonsense on their planet because it always brings destruction later. Someone's always trying to upheave the Jedi way, and it just causes these poor people to be caught in the crossfire. And that is all over High Republic Phase 2 especially. The Jedi have more enemies than they could ever count. So it's not hard to believe when Vernestra says, no, we've got a lot of political enemies, and we can't be seen as losing ourselves to the dark side and having ex-Padawans go around murdering Jedi. We can't seem weak or those who dislike us will jump on that chance. And that is so true to the Jedi and modern day things. Yord, oh Yord, you are such a tryhard. Yord is going to become every Jedi, which is exactly why they falter and fall and flounder. They care more about the idea of being a Jedi than just going out there and being a Jedi. That is what Qui-Gon always spoke on. That is what Sol is really trying to harp when Vernestra calls him back to the council in this. I understand that you all want to sit and deliberate, but we need to do what the Force is telling me to do, or we are going to lose the ability to save May. Now, I do love the point where, yes, Vernestra came from a time of the High Republic where long-distance communications were very spotty, and the last time people just went off on their own, they got stopped behind a storm wall, and a large chunk of the galaxy got taken by the Nihil, and a lot of bad things happened, and she lost her Padawan, then found her Padawan, then she lost her best friend, but she found her best friend. Vernestra has been through a lot. So of course she's extremely cautious, and she wants Jedi to come back to communicate what they've found, to speak with the High Council, and make a plan so that no one is ever left alone, like she and her friends were within the Nihil Occlusion Zone. But Master Sol, who is sadly not a Wayseeker, because we're seeing that that's being slowly driven out. For those that don't know, Wayseekers, like Orla Jurini, were Jedi who did not follow the Council. They did not care what the High Masters ever told them. They simply followed the Force and did what the Force needed and would go where the Force called them. That's a true Jedi. And Master Sol shines that Wayseeker mentality. Just the way he's able to smile at someone who was just accused of being a murderer and know that that's not them, and I will trust them and love them for who they are. And if they have gone down a dark path, I will save them. Jedi Master Sol is the pinnacle of Jedi behaviors. Always no weapon first, always open hand, always to be the mentor and the sage, never the warrior. If there were more Jedi like Sol, they would not have fallen. They would not have gotten so wrapped up in politics that they couldn't even see the Sith choking them to death slowly. And we have Jeki, who is going to be the perfect counter to that with Sol. And of course, like we've seen a lot with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, and with Obi-Wan and Anakin, the Council loves to mismatch Jedi Master and Jedi Apprentice, because then the Padawan teaches the Master almost as much as the Master teaches the Padawan. Sure, in the case of Jeki and Sol, they just want Jeki to not be so analytical all the time. Jeki is doing everything she can to be a powerful Jedi, and thankfully not taking it as far or as strict as Yord does. But she's still very new to this and is simply running off of what she's read in Jedi manual books, which will not ever be the real way to solve things. If you've never seen a Jedi bend the rules a little to get what they needed done, you've never watched Master Yoda do a thing in your life then, because that guy bends more rules than there are bumps on his cane. It's amazing to get to see all of these really great alien Jedi, and that's one of my favorite things about the High Republic. It just felt more inclusive. And again, that is not some shite woke agenda. Inclusiveness was for everyone. That is also what these aliens represent. Anyone and anything. That's the beauty of them. So representation is not woke when it comes to like aliens and people of color having lead roles. Now, I'm very excited for the next episode of The Acolyte, which airs this very evening. Whew, I can't wait. But I just wanted to simply get on here and say, the problems people are having are not real problems. They only exist to create discourse. And the people who enjoy this show are not enjoying it because of an agenda. They're just happy to see a good show with fun new writing. It's different. We have no idea what's going to happen next. That alone makes me love The Acolyte. So while you all are down there hitting the like and subscribe button, of course, feel free to disagree or agree with me and my points on this video and tell me what you think of The Acolyte so far. I'd love to hear your opinions. What do you think's going to happen in the upcoming episodes? I mean, we're probably going after Kelnaka next, and I don't see that Wookiee handling this very well. I'm also extremely intrigued by what happened to May and Asha, to make their past and passions for that very past just as fiery as the accident that may have taken their entire clan, world, who knows? So, thank you all so much for joining me and listening to me ramble about something I'm very excited for, and I hope you're excited for it as well. Have an amazing rest of your day, and as always, may the Force serve you well.